On Wednesday, President Biden signed 9 executive orders in order to get his administration off to a quick start. I will read one of the executive orders as follows. Executive Order on Protecting Public Health and the Environment and Restoring Science to Tackle the Climate Crisis. By the authority vested in me as President by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1. Policy. Our nation has an abiding commitment to empower our workers and communities, promote and protect our public health and the environment, and conserve our national treasures and monuments, places that secure our national memory. Where the federal government has failed to meet that commitment in the past, it must advance environmental justice. In carrying out this charge, the federal government must be guided by the best science and be protected by processes that ensure the integrity of federal decision-making. It is therefore the policy of my administration to listen to the science, to improve public health and protect our environment, to ensure access to clean air and water, to limit exposure to dangerous chemicals and pesticides, to hold polluters accountable, including those who disproportionately harm communities of color and low-income communities, to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, to bolster resilience to the impacts of climate change, to restore and expand our national treasures and monuments, and to prioritize both environmental justice and the creation of the well-paying union jobs necessary to deliver on these goals. To that end, this order directs all executive departments and agencies to immediately review and, as appropriate and consistent with applicable law, take action to address the promulgation of federal regulations and other actions during the last 4 years that conflict with these important national objectives, and to immediately commence work to confront the climate crisis. Section 2. Immediate review of agency actions taken between January 20th, 2017 and January 20th, 2021. A. The heads of all agencies shall immediately review all existing regulations, orders, guidance, documents, policies, and any other similar agency actions promulgated, issued, or adopted between January 20th, 2017 and January 20th, 2021 that are or may be inconsistent with or present obstacles to the policy set forth in Section 1 of this order. For any such actions identified by the agencies, the heads of agencies shall, as appropriate and consistent with applicable law, consider suspending, revising, or rescinding the agency actions. In addition, for the agency actions in the 4 categories set forth in subsections I1 through 4 of this section, the head of the relevant agency, as appropriate and consistent with applicable law, shall consider publishing for notice and comment a proposed rule suspending, revising, or rescinding the agency action within the time frame specified. Subsection 1. Reducing methane emissions in the oil and gas sector. Oil and natural gas sector emission standards for new, reconstructed, and modified sources reconsideration. 85 Federal Register 57398, September 15, 2020, by September 2021. 2. Establishing ambitious job-creating fuel economy standards, and then the title and another title. In considering whether to propose suspending, revising, or rescinding the latter rule, the agency should consider the views of representatives from labor unions, states, and industry. Subsection 3. Job-creating appliance and building efficiency standards. And then titles by May 2021. Protecting our air from harmful pollution as soon as possible. Within 30 days of this date of this order, heads of agencies shall submit to the Director of the Office of Management and Budget a preliminary list of any actions being considered pursuant to Section 2A of this order that would be completed by December 31st, 2021, and that would be subject to OMB review. Within 90 days of the date of this order, heads of agencies shall submit to the Director of OMB an updated list of any actions being considered pursuant to subsection 2A of this order that would be completed by December 31st, 2025, and that would be subject to OMB review. At the time of submission to the Director of OMB, heads of agencies shall also send each list to the National Climate Advisor. In addition, and at the same time, heads of agencies shall send to the National Climate Advisor a list of additional actions being considered pursuant to Section 2A of this order that would not be subject to OMB review. C. Heads of agencies shall, as appropriate and consistent with applicable law, consider whether to take any additional agency actions to fully enforce the policy set forth in Section 1 of this order. With respect to the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, the following specific actions should be considered. 1. Proposing new regulations to establish comprehensive standards of performance and emission guidelines for methane and volatile organic compound emissions from existing operations in the oil and gas sector, including the exploration and production, transmission, processing, and storage segments by September 2021. And 2. Proposing a federal implementation plan in accordance with the Environmental Protection Agency's findings of failure to submit state implementation plan revisions in response to the 2016 Oil and Natural Gas Industry Control Techniques Guidelines for the 2008 Ozone National Ambient Air Quality Standards and for states in the ozone transport region, 85 Federal Register 72963, November 16, 2020, for California, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, and Texas by January 2022. D. The Attorney General may, as appropriate and consistent with applicable law, provide notice of this order and any actions taken pursuant to Section 2A of this order to any court with jurisdiction over pending litigation related to those agency actions identified pursuant to Section 2A of this order, and may, in his discretion, request that the court stay or otherwise dispose of litigation or seek other appropriate relief consistent with this order until the completion of the processes described in this order. E. In carrying out the actions directed in this section, heads of agencies shall seek input from the public and stakeholders, including state, local, tribal, and territorial officials, scientists, labor unions, environmental advocates, and environmental justice organizations. There are further sections to this executive order, however, they go beyond the scope of this video. If you would like to read the rest of the executive order, further reading is in the description below.